DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid is the hereditary material encodes information relating to cell structure and function. Cells have the ability to make exact copies of their DNA and pass this information to daughter cells. DNA also serves as a template for the synthesis of RNA or transcription. DNA can also form a double-stranded molecule, and the two strands are held together by hydrogen bonds formed between A and T residues and between C and G residues. The two strands of DNA are oriented in opposite directions in terms of the 5' to 3' polarity. During DNA replication and RNA transcription, one strand will serve as a template for the synthesis of the complementary strand. The strands of DNA also twist around each other to form a helix. Similarly, small circular DNA molecules can also form higher order structures known as supercoils. DNA free of proteins or naked DNA probably does not exist in cells. Instead, DNA is associated with various DNA binding proteins which package the DNA into chromosomes. As compared to isolating and characterizing proteins for studying their function and structure, isolation of nucleic acids and their manipulation and sequencing is often an easier approach. Genomic DNA is found in the nucleus of all living cells with the structure of double-stranded DNA. Genomic DNA isolation varies in animals and plant cells. As compared to animal cells, DNA isolation from plant cells is difficult due to the presence of cell wall. The amount and purity of extracted DNA depends on the nature of the cell. For gene manipulation, the very first requirement is genetic material like DNA and RNA. Nucleic acids occur naturally in association with proteins and lipoprotein organelles. The dissociation of nucleoprotein into nucleic acid and protein moieties and their subsequent separation are the essential steps in the isolation of all species of nucleic acids. Isolation of nucleic acids is followed by quantitation of nucleic acids, generally done by either spectrophotometric or by using fluorescent dyes to determine the average concentrations and purity of DNA or RNA present in a mixture. Isolating the genetic material from cells like bacteria, viral, plant or animal involves three basic steps: rupturing of cell membrane to release the cellular components and DNA, separation of the nucleic acids from other cellular components, purification of nucleic acids. Three major types of techniques or combinations of them are employed in the isolation of nucleic acids: differential solubility, absorption methods, density gradient centrifugation. The choice of method will depend on the type of DNA being isolated, for example, genomic, organellar, phage, viral, plasmid and complementary mRNA and their application. Most of the nucleic acid isolation protocols involve a cell lysis step, enzymatic treatments, differential solubility and precipitation. Let us discuss them in detail. Cell lysis. Nucleic acids must be solubilized from cells or other biological material. This solubilization is usually carried out under denaturing conditions such as SDS, alkali, boiling or cheotropic agents. These denaturing conditions efficiently rupture the cell and solubilize the nucleic acids and generally do not adversely affect them. In addition, the denaturing conditions promote the removal of proteins during the subsequent steps and inhibit the activity of nucleases, which will degrade the nucleic acids. Enzymatic treatment. Another important approach in the isolation of DNA is degradation of unwanted components. For example, addition of proteases in the lysate will promote the removal of proteins. Proteinase K is still activated at 55 degrees Celsius in the presence of 0.5% SDS. This elevated temperature and SDS improves solubility and inhibit any DNA's activity that may be present in the lysate. Nucleases can also be used to remove unwanted nucleic acid like RNase treatment step. RNase is used to remove RNA from lysate. Phenol extraction. Phenol is an organic solvent that is used to separate proteins from nucleic acids. Proteins are hydrophobic and partition in the organic phase, whereas nucleic acids are highly charged and partition in the aqueous phase. The advantages of phenol extraction are that it is easy to carry out and can be adapted to many applications. It is also easily applied over a wide range of volumes. In particular, phenol extraction is widely used for the isolation of high molecular weight genomic DNA. Phenol is a hazardous waste material that needs to be disposed of properly. A common variation of phenol extraction is a mixture of phenol chloroform isoamyl alcohol used in the ratio of 25:24:1. The more organic chloroform removes lipids, denatures more protein and mixes less with the aqueous phase, leading to more efficient extraction. Ethanol precipitation. Nucleic acids can be precipitated from dilute solutions with ethanol. This precipitation can be a concentration step or a means to change buffers, especially after phenol extraction. Typically, either sodium acetate or potassium acetate pH 5 to 5.5 is added to a final concentration of approximately 0.3 molar. The sodium and acidic pH will neutralize the highly charged phosphate backbone and to promote hydrophobic interactions. Plasmid mini-preps and adsorption methods. Nowadays, techniques based upon adsorption chromatography used for the isolation of smaller DNA molecules such as plasmids. Various kits are available for the rapid isolation of small quantities of plasmid DNA. Another common application for an adsorption method is the isolation of DNA fragments following gel electrophoresis. In this case, the agarose gel piece containing the DNA is dissolved in sodium iodine, a chaotropic salt, and the DNA adsorbed to silica. The DNA is then eluted with a low salt buffer and sometimes gentle heating. DNA isolation from plant cells. Good quality DNA is prerequisite for all experiments of DNA manipulation. All plant DNA extraction protocols are based on the basic steps of disruption of the cell wall, cell membrane and nuclear membrane to release the DNA into solution, followed by precipitation of DNA while ensuring removal of the contaminating biomolecules such as the proteins, polysaccharides, lipids, phenols and other secondary metabolites. Disruption of the tissue is done by using a mortar and pestle aided by liquid nitrogen and the various components of the homogenization or extraction buffer, followed by the precipitating and the purification methods employed. The methodology of DNA extraction is depending upon the tissue type and required concentration of DNA. DNA can be extracted from various types of tissues such as seedlings, leaves, cotyledon seeds, endosperm, tissue culture callus, roots, etc. The most commonly used basic plant DNA extraction protocols are those of Delaporta et al. 1983 and Sagai-Marouf et al. 1984, along with many others that are modifications of the components of these protocols to suit a particular tissue type or downscaling them for mini-prep. The role of various components of DNA extraction protocol is as follows. For plant cells with a rigid cell wall, the disruption of cells usually requires the tissue to be ground using a pestle and mortar in liquid nitrogen. The powdered plant tissue is then transferred to an extraction buffer that contains detergent to disrupt the membranes. Cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide is commonly used for this purpose. The extraction buffer also contains a reducing agent and a chelating agent. This helps to inactivate nucleases that are released from the plant cells and cause serious degradation of the genomic DNA. Keeping the reactions cold when possible can minimize their effects. Phenolic compounds may also be released on the disruption of plant tissues, and these may interfere with the subsequent uses of the DNA. Polyvinyl pyrrolidone can be added to the extraction buffer to remove phenolic compounds. Phenol extraction can be used to remove any traces of proteins, and the genomic DNA can be precipitated using either ethanol or isopropanol. Precipitated DNA can be hooked out of the solution or collected by centrifugation. It is important that DNA is not sheared. For this reason, the DNA should not be vortexed or pipetted repeatedly using a fine tip pipette, and all manipulations should be as gentle as possible. The nucleic acid pellet can be resuspended in either sterile distilled water or TE buffer. Protocol: weigh 2 grams of clean young leaf tissue and grind to a fine powder with a pestle and mortar after freezing in liquid nitrogen. Transfer to a 50 ml centrifuge tube with 10 ml extraction buffer maintained at 65 degrees Celsius in a water bath. Mix vigorously or vortex. Incubate at 65 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Mix intermittently. Allow to come to room temperature. Add 10 ml of chloroform isoamyl alcohol. Mix gently by making a figure of 8. Centrifuge at 10,000 rpm for 10 minutes at 25 degrees Celsius. Transfer aqueous phase to a fresh centrifuge tube. Add 0.6 volume of chilled isopropanol and let the DNA to precipitate for 30 minutes by keeping it in -20 deep freezer. Spool out the DNA, drain out the excess chemicals with a pipette, add 0.5 ml of 70% ethanol, mix gently and keep it at room temperature for 15 minutes. Decant and repeat the 70% ethanol treatment. Decant off and dry the pellet under vacuum or air dry. Dissolve DNA in 1 ml of 10:1 TE buffer. Add RNase A and incubate at 37 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Add equal volume of phenol chloroform isoamyl alcohol, mix properly for at least 5 minutes and centrifuge at 10,000 rpm for 10 minutes. Extract twice with chloroform isoamyl alcohol. Precipitate DNA by adding 1:10 volume of 3 molar sodium acetate and 2 times of the total volume chilled ethanol. Mix gently and spool out the DNA, or alternatively precipitate by centrifugation at 12,000 rpm for 15 minutes. Remove extra salts by 2 washing with 70% ethanol. Dry under vacuum or air dry. Add minimum volume of TE. Resuspend the pellet at room temperature. Store at -20 degrees Celsius. Precautions: material finally ground in liquid nitrogen should be immediately transferred into the extraction buffer and must not be allowed to sweat. In chloroform isoamyl alcohol extraction, the aqueous phase should be carefully removed and organic phase re-extracted to ensure full recovery of DNA. Care should be taken to do the operations as gently as possible. Vortexing, pipetting, using fine tips, etc. should be avoided to prevent the shearing of DNA. DNA should not be over-dried as resuspension in TE become difficult. All the glasswares, plasticwares, pestles and mortars, etc. should be decontaminated properly. Care should be taken to prevent cross-contamination. DNA isolation from animal cells. Turn on 60 degrees Celsius and 37 degrees Celsius water baths. Take a small piece of blood or tissue, place in 1.5 ml tube and chop into small pieces. Centrifuge 5 to 10 minutes at maximum speed. Remove and dispose of liquid by pipette. Air dry by leaving tube caps open until there is no moisture present when tube is flicked and there is no ethanol odor present. Add twice the volume of PBS buffer, vortex and centrifuge at max speed for 2 to 5 minutes. Extract and dispose of PBS by pipette and repeat 2 more times. Add 330 microliter of STE buffer and 40 microliter of 20% SDS solution. Proteinase K is added in the next step. The final volume should be 400 microliter. Add 20 microliter of 20 mg per ml protein kinase. Mix by vortex or by pipette and incubate at 60 degrees Celsius for 4 hours. Add another 5 to 10 microliter of protein kinase and incubate overnight at 37 degrees Celsius. 20 microliter is used for the first addition of protein kinase and 10 microliter for the second addition for most tissues. The 2 additions of protein K can be reversed for convenience. and then add 20 microliter and digest 4 hours at 60 degrees Celsius. Centrifuge samples at max speed for 15 to 30 minutes to pellet cellular debris. Pour supernatant into a clean 1.5 ml tube. For steps 4 to 9, you will need 4 sets of clean 1.5 ml tubes. Add 400 microliter of phenol mixed by hand. Leave samples on ice for 10 minutes. Centrifuge at max speed for 2 minutes. Expel layer into a clean 1.5 ml tube. Repeat steps 5 to 6, leave on ice for only 5 minutes. Add 400 microliter of chloroform isoamyl alcohol mixed by hand. Centrifuge at maximum speed for 2 minutes. Remove top layer by cutting a 200 microliter pipette tip. Expel layer into a clean 1.5 ml tube. Do not include any of the bottom or interface layers. Add 2 volumes of cold 95% ethanol and invert. DNA should be visible. Add 4% 3 molar sodium acetate and invert. Place tubes in at minus 20 degrees Celsius freezer overnight to precipitate DNA. Centrifuge for 15 to 30 minutes at max speed to pellet DNA. Discard supernatant and add 500 microliter of 70% ethanol to wash the DNA, pellet, invert and centrifuge for 2 minutes at maximum speed. Resuspended DNA in 50 to 200 microliter of sterile distilled water, add water and mix gently by pipette. Let incubate at 37 degrees Celsius for 1 to 12 hours. Mix gently by pipette again and incubate at 4 degrees Celsius overnight. Mix and store at minus 20 to minus 80 degrees Celsius. First, profiling fingerprint. Genomic DNA can lead to some form of reproducible data that provides a unique representation of the sample, that is band profile on a PCR DNA fingerprint for example. Second, first attempt at cloning a new gene required to go to the original source of that code, which is the genome. Third, characterization diagnostics. DNA isolation can help for disease diagnosis. Fourth, studying genome for clues into gene expression and regulation. To study gene expression regulation, euchromatin nuances, tissues developmental specificity, spliced isoforms, etc. Genomic DNA isolation is a basic strategy used in biotechnology for various purposes. There are various techniques available for DNA isolation from plant and animal cells, and this revolution opened the gateways for various studies, includes protein functioning, gene regulation, DNA profiling and genetic basis of disease, etc.